VR.
Yes, sometimes.
Special
Yes.
occasions.
How many memes do I need to post to get the ban on Discord for Banter appreciation?
Right now. I'll give it to you right now. That is an oversight. So let me just sort that as we speak live in real time. Honestly, you know the way you go somewhere for your news, like whatever it is, Facebook,
Zephy just
Reddit.
dropped in from another dimension.
I go to the Funny Vids Pigs channel on Banter now. That's where I get my updates. That's where I know what's going on with current events.
A daily routine now.
Let's see.
Have to keep
Do
pressing
you
on
not have it
option.
already?
No.
And it's so fast. There's so much. Oof, you're like a machine.
Oh, right. Okay, I see. There you go. Banter appreciated. Thank you very much, sir.
Yay.
Thank you. I have one more thing, if it's okay.
Okay, yeah, hit me.
When you use the ropes and you turn around, sometimes they don't stick and they try to connect somewhere else. Have you noticed this?
So when you shoot them out and you turn around, they don't stick?
No,
They're just a
and
little less
they move.
reliable than they have been.
Yeah,
So,
like
yeah.
you lose grip.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep.
New feature.
Okay, I think I know the
Unravel
cause of
winter
that. Yeah, we were trying to fix a bug where sometimes when you would click on UI elements, then it would try to Spider-Man you at the same time, and that was kind of jarring. So I think what's happened here is that, yeah, if I can just reproduce it, so if I hit right there in front of that UI, it'll stay there until I hover my cursor over the UI, and then it disappears, and then it's back, and I hover it over, and back, and I hover it back. And there's actually a 2-second delay. Whoops. There's a 2-second delay after you stop hovering on some UI for the spiders to kind of re-enable. So obviously that's what's borked it, and we can get that fixed. But yeah, that includes name tags as well. So that's why as you move around, it's probably detaching and reattaching somewhere else as soon as it hits. As soon as somebody's name tag kind of intersects with
Our fish overlord,
with
a
the
real
rope.
Thank you,
human,
Shane.
actually joined the
So yeah,
space.
at least we know
Now
what the problem
everyone
is
act
there.
like a
Honestly,
human.
that's 99% of the effort. I'm AFK right now. Otherwise, I'd definitely take a note. Is there any chance you could just drop that into the
Purple Teal
Discord
has
and
joined.
remind me? Because
Quick,
I think
hide
Faye
your avatars.
isn't here right now. But yeah, if you could take a note of that, I'd appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Of course.
HBR,
Pronounced as Hobora.
is now
That's
part
amazing.
Of our
How did
virtual
he do that?
mischief.
Why even have the HBR bit? Why not just have it say Hubara in the first place? Am I right? Okay, mental germ. Just give me 1 second because I've heard Shoseki say something in my ear a few times, but I cannot hear him.
That's dead
Go ahead,
Zed
Shoseki.
right
Your megaphone. What are you trying to tell me?
That's dead Zed right there. And that skeleton avatar, that's him right
Gotcha.
there.
Appreciate
The
it.
avatar guy.
Audio
You're-
Yeah, that's not.
Slickston is wanted in several other
Okay,
spaces.
mental germ. Go ahead.
Take
Your
cover and
megaphone.
shoot.
What can
All
I?
right.
What can I do?
So with the new build and everything, my big question I've noticed in some of the older remixes, where I have utilized just A-frame putting in pictures, JPEGs, some of them are no longer showing up. They're just a white square on the wall.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I was just wondering, should I go ahead and just delete
3i52 has
that
logged into the mainframe.
because it's not going to work, or?
And no, what you should do is just report all and any issues that you have. Report them under the bugs section in our Discord. Include a link to the space so that we can get to it and test it. We want to go through all these spaces and fix as much as we can. So, but we need all the information. So you just need to put in a bug report on the Discord, and we can investigate it from there. We have a few already that we need to go through, but I say that to anybody. we've endeavored to make this new SDK completely backwards compatible, and we're going to do that as much as we possibly can. I'm going to highlight Hubber because he's gone to great lengths to work on his spaces and get them up to date with the new SDK. Despite the fact that I promised I would help him do that, he's already taken it on himself to do that. But honestly, if we can't fix them as they are, I'll figure out a way to rewrite them so they can work with the new SDK.
Okay. So should I
that's the
just take a
Banter
video
guarantee.
or a picture and put it
A
in
video
the bug report?
would be, yeah. I mean, specifically, your issue sounds fairly easy to understand, but I guess for anybody else's purposes, if it is a bit more complex and you're not exactly sure what is or isn't working, then yeah, take a video and try if you can to explain how things should be, and that will help, help us to be able to figure out how to get them fixed.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Go ahead, man.
Awesome. So for anybody who's just joined us, this is the Banter-AMA, the Banter-AMA, where you can ask me any questions you like. All you got to do is make your way up onto the beach like Simon is just demonstrating for us there. He's walking up that beach like it's a catwalk. It's amazing. He's going to get up to the front and he's going to do a spin. Couple of spins. You are on the catwalk, baby. There you go. Beautiful. Simon, I'm assuming you've got a question. I did megaphone you.
You have a, yeah, you got a
No, I
question?
haven't, but seeing them here, what's your favourite book? There you go.
Favorite book? Wow.
Yeah, recent or historical, whatever.
Like paper book?
Yeah,
Let's
a
say
paper book.
Wow. Okay. This is.
Do you ever read a
This
book?
is. Books aren't things I get to enjoy really all that much these days. But I mean, I loved reading Jaws back in the day. I thought Jaws was an amazing read. And if I go back even further, the first book I can kind of remember, maybe Peter Rabbit or something like that, right?
Yeah,
That's
that
like
is
an early childhood one.
good read that. Yeah, great one.
So yeah, there's some for you. Cheers for that one, Simon.
Hi.
Hey, Second Life Rich, how are you doing? What can I do you for?
I'm doing pretty
So
good.
now we're on a
Greetings.
romantic boat trip together.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, it's a great platform you've got here. I was introduced to it by IT Trey, and this is my second time in here. So I am like very new, but I am a creator in VR chat and in Spatial and Second Life and a few other platforms. But my question is mainly my interest right now is in knowing what is the process for sharing assets. So if I create an asset for someone, how easy is it for me to share that with another person into their account? Like if I create a world, an avatar or something like that, is there a process for transferring ownership in here, or is that coming at any time in the future?
Gotcha. That's a very good question. First of all, there's many ways you could share assets in here, although they might be slightly different to how you could be used to sharing them, let's say. Most of the platforms you're talking about, like Spatial and Second Life and VR Chat, they all use a centralized model, right? Where everything you upload, it goes to their servers, and at that point, they implement a certain amount of access control around that as to who can access it and so forth. In Banter, we're, I guess, a little bit more decentralized than that as standard. Basically, what I mean by that is every space in Banter is effectively a web page, right? That's probably the best way to think of it. We're secretly low-key a browser under the hood. And your assets are just simply linked in that web page. You can think of it like a markdown configuration that's embedded in the page. And our new SDK has a direct JavaScript interface. So you just build in all the JavaScript parts that you want to make, your space functional. But other than that, our plugin works much like Spatials, much like VR Chats. It will create asset bundles for various platforms from your Unity content. And those asset bundles can then be just simply linked in your space. We have two different types of asset bundles that we support. One is scene-based asset bundles, where you would drag your scene file in and build that. And the other is prefab-based asset bundles, or kit bundles, as we call them. And only actually just in the last couple of days with the new update that we put out, previously there was a limit on how many kit bundles could be used within one space, and that limit's now been increased. Previously it was 1 bundle, now it is 3 bundles. And
that can be in this. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that sounds a lot like Altspace VR was with their
Yes.
they had their kits. Yeah. Okay.
that's probably a good way to think of it. We're not URP,
Mhm.
we're built in,
Mhm.
but it's otherwise probably a good way to think of it. In the future, there's every
Gotcha.
likelihood we could have a marketplace with kit bundles for people to be able to pick and choose from and pull into their worlds and then use to place items,
Ravioli
right, as
just
part of maybe a
teleported
larger
in.
in-game world builder, let's say. Now, I'll be
Mhm.
honest with you, I've kind of put out I guess, you know, a teaser or like an expression of interest to say, hey, if anybody else would like to create such a marketplace, feel free to do so. If somebody does it before we do it, we would rather endorse a community marketplace than be the centralized, controlled marketplace, right? So we've opened up this capability, and yeah, if somebody doesn't build it by the time we get to it, we'll build it, you know. But
Just
we're open
teleported
to
in.
we're open to that kind of interleaved collaboration with the community on a lot of this, and allowing the community to kind of take hold and build huge parts of this, right? That's very much it's been my experience in the past when working with these platforms, Altspace, you know, specifically, that they probably should have done that a little bit more. And you know, I was one of those builders back in the day, building tools that people could use to make their worlds, and they should have probably embraced that more. So yeah, I guess long story short, I'm just trying to say we're eager to try and get behind and support anybody who wants to try to build on what we're building. And yeah, you know, any level of control could be built into that then yourself.
That sounds amazing. I love that. Yeah, that it sounds like there is a tremendous amount of possibilities. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh boy.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Divine.
To put more on what his question was,
Yes.
how do we, like, I'm trying to share items that I make on like the Ready Player Me. Like I made some clothes and I'm trying to share those with other people as well. Like, how do I go about doing that? Because I had some difficulties earlier when I was trying to do it.
I think the best thing to do is that when you set up a Ready Player Me studio account, you create what's called a subdomain, which is like your own custom Ready Player Me address. Let's say it's divineslayer420.readyplayer.me. We have one of those ourselves. The address is sidequest.readyplayer.me, and a number of our prominent users have ones as well, like FireRat's got one that's fire.readyplayer.me. Zeffy's got one, I believe. I mean, a lot of people now have got them. But if you want to easily share it, in the menu on the top right, there's that little browser button. And when you click that, right in the middle, there's go to URL. So you can give them that address, tell them to type it in there, and hit go. And then they will be able to browse your avatars, select whatever they want, and change their avatar.
Okay, and how do I get my name down there where everybody has their name as well?
That's a good question. Right now, that setup was kind of there mostly because we were running into problems, bugs, issues we were finding with Ready Player Me's stuff, and that was basically to enable access to as many avatars and custom avatars as possible whilst we were dealing with whatever that issue was. Honestly, I think right now, internally, we're in the process of contemplating creating a more open avatar implementation on the platform that isn't necessarily directly coupled with Ready Player Me. And when we do that, there's a possibility that we might explore additional avatar features, right, beyond what we've got right now. Now, we probably won't ever get to the crazy level that what VR Chat has, because I honestly think it's too risky, it's too dangerous, it's too easy for people to create things that can crash an entire room and and that's always a bad experience, especially on standalone, right? And that's a priority for us. But
yeah, one more question. I'm sorry for asking so many.
that's okay.
One more. So basically, that basically with the names and stuff down there, I see that kind of like the hangar. Well, in Old Space, I'm not sure if you were around when Maximus was there. Had the hangar. Basically, it was like uh, where like you could click on the bottom of your screen and it would bring up this menu, and it had like several people's names on it, and it had their stuff that they brought in and stuff like that. Would we ever get something like that here? Where you can click on the bottom of your menu, like in game, kind of like that. No.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I can't answer. I mean, to be honest, it sounds like that's kind of what we have right now, if I understand you correctly. It's in game. You can change your avatar. If I remember correctly about the system you're talking about, that was only available in certain worlds, whereas here, of course,
where you had
you can change it wherever you want. It's an avatar. It's just a fully fledged avatar like anything else.
Yeah, he had like a little medallion or something in the world where you can change it.
Yeah, no, I'm well versed in those little floating buttons that they used to have. I actually made the first one many years ago.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Apart from their own menu, I was the first one to put it over on the right. But no, I mean, honestly, I can't tell you. Like I say, things are kind of a little bit up in the air right now in terms of the avatar system and how it's going to evolve. So I can't tell you for sure exactly what it's going to do or how it's going to be implemented then. But I can tell you that we want it to be as open as possible, and we want people to have access as much as possible to custom avatars. So there's no real incentive.
I mean, it kind of is the
internally.
same, but you would have to like change a lot of your avatar in order to get like basically with the one that they had there, it was like you could choose like to change your hat, and you wouldn't have to change your whole avatar to do that, to change your hat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
Sure. Well, like I say, I mean, what we have right now is a Ready Player Me integration, which gives you a fully bespoke custom setup. But what you've got is a custom avatar, which can't be necessarily, I guess, easily compatible with that, right?
Yeah.
It depends. It really depends. I mean, honestly, that system, I remember I visited a couple of times, and the performance problems that it introduced were pretty serious. And what you have with Ready Player Me is that they will take a hat and let you put it onto a normal avatar, and then they will generate an entirely new one piece, one mesh, one texture, one material, 2 draw calls from all of that. And that's a super optimized way to approach it. Not the most. There's always room for improvement, but just pulling in additional objects on top of your avatar, it doesn't scale well. I'm sure you can imagine, right? Because anything that's a multiplier that's relative to the number of avatars in the world, it's always a big concern for performance. But
that's true. There was a lot of performance issues.
Yeah. So, but we've obviously tried to keep a focus on that, and obviously, with what we've got, we've maintained, full body IK for all the avatars. Obviously, avatars with legs, which for some reason is hard to do for some other platforms.
Rub it in my face again. Rub it in my face.
And they have to,
I ain't got no legs.
Well, this is the thing, right? It's interesting to see you come from a platform where legs just weren't a thing, and everybody kind of got used to it. But legs are a thing. We like legs. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you could say the platforms that don't have legs, well, they don't have legs, I guess. But
I will soon have Twizzler legs. But yeah,
that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. That's so good. I'm going to change out from my Nook and instead stand on the edge of this hot tub up here. I am moved by that concept. But I think. I think we've tried to squeeze every last bit out of the avatar system that we can, and as I'm sure some of you know, it's even a bit too aggressive at times, but that's just how serious we take it when it comes to avatar performance. And I think we can improve more, and we're looking at ways for us to build out better workflows, right? For instance, these avatars are decimated into what's called a number of levels of detail, and they're different depending on whether it's your own personal avatar you're looking at, or you're looking at other people, or as I'm sure a lot of you can see, then in the distance there's a bunch of flat sprites of everybody standing in the same pose, interestingly enough, whether they're looking at you or not. but yeah, we are actually looking forward. I mean, we've only been talking about this internally, but we think we can do a better job of that kind of decimation and actually get better quality out of the avatars at a much lower poly, count, and that we can have levels that are extremely low, so that you don't really have to resort as often to the 2D sprite, right? As much as we like them, I'd also like to be able to see people in the distance and see, more expression from them than just a flat stance. But
Awesome.
honestly,
Well,
it's been a saving grace for us.
Well, thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it. You're doing an awesome job, by the way.
Thank you. Let's see, we've got Trey. Go ahead, Trey.
Yeah. Is it a issue going on with the YouTube player? Because, like, I have a playlist that I had on my YouTube player, and now it's not loading. Like, it's not working. Give me an error message. But it used to work before the update.
Yes, there actually is. There is a codec issue. We've already solved it, but it involves downloading a build in our support on Discord. We're gonna have probably an update out on Monday as well.
Okay.
If you'd rather wait till then.
Okay, yeah, I'd rather wait. Yeah, it's not urgent. Okay.
There's also a more complicated way of screencasting that we did last night. It took us hours, but if you wanted to screencast other stuff, but that's another thing. We'll see tomorrow.
But yeah, no, absolutely, it's a codec problem.
Okay.
But we'll have it resolved on Monday.
Okay.
That's why I'm good at
awesome.
Cheers, Trey. Let's see. Okay, Second Life Rich, are you just hanging out there? Have you got another question, or you good?
Yes. Sorry about that. Yes, I'm just.
No, you're fine. I'm just checking, just making sure. This is the time where I have to waffle to fill the time. So what am I going to talk about? My avatar, right? Some of you might notice my avatar's changed. Normally my head is a lot smaller, but now it's a lot bigger. And yeah, myself and my wife, we were doing some recordings today in Banter for our 5th birthday, Sidequest's 5th birthday, I should mention, right? Banter is actually only going to be one tomorrow, right? That's also something worth talking about. Tomorrow is a big deal for a number of reasons, right? It's a global celebration of fun times, let's say. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. I don't need to see it. Weed. Cannabis. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, Banter was originally launched on 420 into beta, right? That's when we launched Banter originally, made it available, made it publicly available to people, and yeah, I'm excited.
Did you do that on purpose?
Maybe we did. Why
Good
not?
Answer.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't ask that question before.
Yeah. But yeah, we did. Honestly,
You'll
there was a
never
whole
forget
promotion.
it. I'll tell you that much.
That's
no
true.
one forgets my son was born on 420 as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
at 4:20 p.m.
intimate
too.
details.
No joke.
Wow,
No way.
jeez.
Yeah.
That's
I'm not
a
even
sign
kidding.
if I have ever heard one.
I'm not even
That's
kidding.
crazy. That's about as crazy as
Just dropped in
Cyrus's
from another
outfit down there.
dimension.
That's nuts.
What?
Oh wait, I gotta relive.
He's a robot to me. Yeah.
No. That's another bug we're gonna fix on Monday. Oh hey, sorry, Second Life. How you doing? Go ahead.
No problem, no problem.
Zippy just
You
stumbled
triggered
into our
another
virtual
question in me
realm.
when you pointed out
Someone
those.
hold
I
their
was just
hand, they look
wondering
lost.
what those sprites were in the background, and you mentioned that
Divine
they're the
Slayer
avatars. So I
420
did
is
some tests
wanted in several
moving
other
forward and back, and
spaces.
it's like
Take
they
cover
work
and
like
shoot.
LODs basically, right? And
That's right.
so I was wondering, is that applied to custom avatars also? So when someone uploads a completely custom avatar that's not a Ready Player Me avatar, is that effect still applied on it?
Yes,
And I'm
currently,
just
yeah,
wondering how
absolutely.
you do that. And so you just turn it into a PNG sprite or something like that, just right here in real time. That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
it's cold.
So all of the avatars, even the custom ones, are currently hosted on the Ready Player Me platform. They've opened things up in the last, I don't know, probably 6 months, I guess,
Okay.
where you can now just completely build your own custom avatars and upload them to their platform.
Ah.
And they have this facility, believe it or not. It's called their Render
Joker Cared
API,
has
where they
logged
can
into the
render your
mainframe.
avatar in several poses and produce a transparent PNG.
Okay.
So yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
what we're falling back
VR,
onto.
yeah, VR chat had they're calling it imposters. So they've got the
Yes.
imposter system. Yeah. Okay. So it's
Well,
working like that.
it's even more basic, right? It's just a
Yeah.
sprite, no imposters at all.
Yeah.
But imposters are something that we've already been talking about for the new avatar system. But I think what we want to try and see is if we can avoid that at all in all cases. Try and avoid having to resort to 2D instances of the
Right.
avatars and try and keep them as 3D, right? Even if they're
Right,
completely messed up at
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
200
But just
meters or whatever.
right. Yeah. Understood. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. For anybody else that's interested, as we kind of start to explore what this new avatar system can mean, and let me make it clear, everything that you've got today will work with that. That's basically going to be our mantra going forward. Backwards compatibility is something that's really important to us. But anybody who is interested in making avatars, we have a whole avatar section on the Discord. You can opt into a role that gives you access to those channels. And we are going to be interested in what you guys want from an avatar system, or for those of you that are making avatars, what are the pain points, what are the problems, what are some of the things you'd love to be able to do, right? And I know there's definitely going to be some people who'll have some input on that, and we're going to be all ears. So after we finish the current SDK rollout that we've just completed phase 1 on, we're then going to be finishing off some work we've been doing on a whole new menu system that we've been working on for a while, which is spoiler, is going to unlock more performance improvements, which I'm pretty excited about. But immediately after that, the next thing on the roadmap is for us to take a look at this avatar system and see what we can do with it, right? So there's lots of different things that we can potentially explore, everything from opening up more better blend shapes, more targets, whatever you want to call them, to possibly exploring the option for some dynamic bones, right? I think a lot of people want some part of them to jiggle at some point, right? Lee over there, I know he's got a few parts he would love to jiggle, but we think we can definitely explore this stuff, right? No promises being made at this point, and obviously for us, performance is always going to be a priority, and I have to kind of caveat it with that, because avatars are always one of the biggest performance costs, and balancing that is a balancing act. So, but I'm sure we can get there together. I'm sure we can all just find something that can fit really well, that lets people express themselves and lets them be themselves without having to resort to reducing them down to a blob or whatever it is, or some sort of default hidden avatar that everybody gets to see. So let's see, Joker, I saw you with your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm coming in a bit late to it, so sorry if you've already mentioned this, but with the avatar changes, does that come also with hand tracking, or would that be a bit later?
That's a great question. As it stands right now, we want to support all sorts of multimodal tracking input. The priority for us is body tracking before hand tracking, but hand tracking is definitely on the roadmap. I would think we could probably pull off hand tracking by the end of the year, to give you a loose timeline on that. But yeah, as we re-engineer the avatar system, or even in its current state, it's already sort of ready to handle waist and foot trackers. So that's going to be a priority for us to implement that first if we can. But yeah, hand tracking is definitely coming after that, and we want to at least try and figure out a way to support platforms like Apple Vision Pro, or whatever the new Facebook headset is going to be that is hand tracking, by default. So, those are definitely big priorities for us.
I was thinking of that for the deaf community too, because that would be amazing to be able to use sign language here in virtual reality. But that's why I also appreciate the new voice to text. That's a really cool feature.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got some other updates coming soon with the new menu based on some feedback around general quality of life sort of accessibility features, if you know what I mean. So we're improving the pointer that shows you where you're pointing, so that it's much easier and clearer to see where it is and to be able to find it, because sometimes it can be a bit of a pain. But yeah, I mean, we also want to, like you say, leverage our speech-to-text system to allow people to talk, or have support for other forms of input that can then manifest themselves as like speech bubbles above people's heads. All of these kind of things can give people some choice when they decide how they'd like to interact with the platform, whether they have a disability or not. I think these kinds of features are important. We've already got a number of users that just prefer to stay muted, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Cheers, Joker. Oh, Proxide.
I don't know if Dan, do you have a question, Dan?
No, I'm good.
No, okay.
Not at the moment.
No, yeah, I was just as you mentioned disabilities. I know in the past you've talked about the new flying system, where about you flapping your wings.
Yes.
Have you thought about disabilities in that regard?
So there's two flight mechanics that we're exploring, and one of them involves flapping your hands, and the other is less of activity, let's say. In that one, it's more combination of positioning and button presses. Yeah, it's definitely something that we want to try and explore and see if we can at least implement something that allows people to use it in a sort of an easy mode form, right, where you can maybe just hover.
Yep.
But right now we're actually working with a third party to perfect that mechanic. So yeah, that's some feedback I'll bring to them as part of that conversation too.
Yep. Thank you.
Cheers, Peroxide. Okay, let's do a segment I like to do from time to time where we just call on somebody random for a hot take. And since Captain Dan is already down there and he's in his Oculus menu, let's put him on the spot.
Let's do it. I deserve it. Hello.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell us the most amazing thing that's happened to you so far this hour.
This hour? Well, that's sad because I came in late. Okay, I can actually answer this. Yeah. But so I can actually answer this. I've been in a lot of metaverses, and you know what? I've had the CEO present different things that they're doing within their platform and kind of talk to the community, field questions. There's something about this that really feels authentic, and I am new to Banter, but I could sense this. So just between the community and the way that you're speaking and answering questions, I definitely see something different that I haven't seen in some of the other platforms I've seen before, and I just want to commend you on that. So that's the amazing thing. See how good I did? I think that was amazing. 5 minutes I've been in here.
That was a good
pat on my back.
That's brilliant, Captain Dan. I appreciate that. And yeah, I'm glad that you pick up on that because I think for me at least anyway, the reason is, I actually actively use this platform myself, right? I actually have a vested interest in it beyond, it being a product of ours, let's say, and that's that I enjoy coming here and spending my own personal time here. So what we're building for you guys and what you're helping us build is something that we're also building for ourselves because we're passionate about this and we want to come in here and build cool things, right? And that's when that's how you get amazing things like this space. I honestly, I've spent a lot of time in different platforms and I've just never seen something as impressively beautiful as this, and also as flexible and versatile. Like right down there's a little button you can click, and all together we can enjoy a shared YouTube playlist of whatever trippy videos you can find on YouTube, and a lot of them out of the box, they just look great here. And honestly, we recently made a change, as I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, where by default new users are currently spawning into this space. and that's just because we want to showcase, the fruit of our labor in terms of what we've made, what we're really passionate about, proud of, and what we want. By the way, I can also let you know, as part of that, there is also a custom homes option for anyone who doesn't know. In the menu now, you can set any world as your default world that you load into. But if you don't change it, or if you select the Banter choice option, we plan to experiment with that in future, to be able to dynamically change it, basically, to see if we can bring people maybe to the places that they want to be a bit easier. Make it easier for people to find the things that they're coming into Banter for. And let me give you an example of that, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. We are now experimenting with different ways to drive traffic at the platform. And what we were considering is that during specific, high-profile live events, that we can dynamically start driving in all new users into those events. Now, depending on what it is, of course, and this is what I mean when it comes to experimentation, right? But if you have a book reading, maybe that's not the best idea. It could be disruptive for new users to land in. But if you've got a karaoke, or you've got a party, or you've got other social events where people are just hanging out, mingle and chill, that kind of stuff, then it could be a really great place for new users to kind of land in. Now, honestly, I don't know if this will be the same forever. I don't know if we'll always do it like this. But right now, we're really just exploring different ways that we can make Banter more welcoming, more easier for people to discover where are the worlds where most of the people are. Because I think for a lot of us, that's why we're here. We kind of crave that social element of the platform. So yeah, anybody's got any thoughts on that, please feel free to let me know. If you don't like it, by all means, you can change your home space, like I say, to any world that you want. And there's even a default option in there that will put it back to the previous home space that we all had, that we all know and love. The old lobby, yes. So feel free to jump into that as well. And if you want, you can make that space your home space and then have other people come and join you in it, right? So, I'm waffling. Apologies. We have another event for waffling called the Tech Waffle, which is tomorrow. So please come to that and you can listen to me waffle a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Captain Dan, I think you're just hovering around that. I don't think you have another question, do you? Or
no. Oh, no, I'm just hovering up. Am I doing something that's signaling a question? No, anyway, yeah, no, I'm good.
No. It's an unspoken thing that just, without a podium or anything, people generally just walk down the beach towards the UI there and line up, let's say, if they have a question. It's usually a lot clearer because usually I'm standing on this. But I decided to change it so that people could enjoy the video instead. But hey, why not? Let's do it. Let's change it up so you guys can get to see it.
Well, that's
so this
cool.
is some of the things that we like to experiment with when it comes to, doing presentations, trying to create impact with what it is that you're doing. So you'll notice that I'm up behind you here, and
is this
depending on when you joined,
concert?
Could be, could
Why
be.
do I see another Shane up there?
Welcome
This
to
is
Banter.
Cool. This is cool.
There's so many of them, Trey. There's honestly loads of them. Let me just get right down there so I can just stare at all these guys.
I would use this in all the wrong ways. Create false religions and whatnot.
Your helmet is so big.
Oh no. I was just literally watching. Shoseki made me binge watch something on HBO called The Vow, and I don't want to make it cold. I don't want to make it cold.
Well, if you did, this would be
One
handy.
of us.
You should read out the description for Banter from Steam with the movie voice and up there. Yeah, because that looks.
Oh yeah.
That looks really cool.
Yeah.
You should read that out.
Yeah, maybe I might just do that.
Like
Sorry,
the
go ahead,
movie
Joker.
voice.
I'm waffling. This is what I do, by the way. I just go on and waffle, and then people line up, and I forget, and then I eventually come back. So, sorry, Joker. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I just come here to learn, but So I've downloaded the Unity Hub so I could start learning how to actually build. But when it comes to things like avatars, and I know we have the events that I think it's Faye or I'm trying to remember who hosts the event, but is that still like if you don't have any graphics experience whatsoever, is that still the best way to go about it to learn Unity first, or should I be starting somewhere else?
That's a great question. I mean, I guess it depends really on how much you want to be able to sort of invest into this, because Unity is a professional workflow, right? It's certainly not for the lighthearted. But if you're really determined, then yeah, definitely, I'd say dive in. And some of the best places to start are, there's reams and reams of tutorials online, but here in Banter we have classroom settings where some of our users and some of our staff will run events showing you how to create stuff, everything from worlds to avatars. Shout out to Lisa's event once a week, where she covers mostly entry-level topics. So that's a really good one to get to. And Dead Zed, who likes to punish himself and let us all watch, as he describes it, while he goes through once again, the basics of sort of Blender and what's involved in getting an avatar model, and how to get it prepped and ready to be able to put it into the system and have your own custom avatars.
Okay,
and then
thanks.
Aline, of course, as well, one of our own staff, she does a 3D waffle event on Sunday, which is usually follow-on from whatever Lisa has done most recently, where she'll start to elaborate a bit further or look at it a different way. It really depends. We also have our Space Makers event, right, which is actually probably formatted more like this. It's more like a Q&A session. Which is also on Sunday, just before the 3D Waffle event. So highly recommend all of those for just getting a sense of it, starting to get a feel for it, starting to kind of absorb it. And it's a great setting as well. And it's, in my opinion, a whole lot more immersive than just watching a YouTube video, let's say.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you. Cyrus, go ahead. Apologies. Did I skip you the last time? Were you waiting longer? Because I might not have noticed. I was over here talking crap.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. I don't mind waiting. But if I've bought 3D models like from websites and stuff, am I able to implement them into Banter?
Has glitched into the matrix.
Yes.
Like characters and stuff.
Yes, in essence, if you have a license to them, then you can, within the remit of that license, make changes to them, upload them to your Ready Player Me platform, make them available to others. You can do a lot of those things.
That's cool then.
Yeah. Thank you, Cyrus. Okay. I don't know. Was it Unravel or Divine? Who's first?
Unravel's been waiting down there for a while.
I'm not in line.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I was looking at the SDK examples, and a lot of it is A-frame, and it looks like there's way more APIs in like A-frame than Unity. So it seems like you're going in a very similar direction to like Altspace, in terms of creation tools. So what do you like about the Altspace creation tools, and like what would you hope to like improve from that?
God, it's a really good question. Okay, well, first of all, I should probably say that right now we're in the process of rolling out SDK v2, which honestly is going to push us more towards the Unity workflows than it is A-frame and 3JS and web-based 3D. But even though I've said that, it is going to be fully backwards compatible with our existing A-frame SDK. So everything that works, that's there, that's documented, bar maybe a few select items we discovered that nobody was using and that were just too difficult to re-implement in the new system, that we've deprecated. But I think there's a high percentage of features that we're still going to have support for there. But to get to your question, what about that? Well, I should probably tell you that back in the day in Altspace, I originally built some tools in there it was their first world builder, right? Before they had a world builder. It was called Shane's Editor. And it was based on 3JS, right? I was using a in-app browser that you could generally use to create UI. So I built a little interface that you could manage the world, build worlds, all that kind of stuff. So for me, the magic that's involved in being able to kind of take, you know, an open scripting environment like JavaScript, let's say, where it's nicely sandboxed, but it's also got a huge amount of power. To be able to leverage that to not just build worlds and games and apps, but to actually build the core foundation of tools that others can use to build worlds and games and apps. And you know, here at Banter, I guess I've maintained that sort of open approach and trying to leverage the open web and trying to leverage existing languages and standards that are already there, rather than expect people to learn the new, you know, what is it, Noodles or Trimesh or Wires or whatever visual scripting system that you want to try and invent and try and get people to get on board with. With us, what you can do is you can, quite simply, you can make a website that operates like a normal website on the internet, but when you visit it in Banter, it is a 3D world, right? That's how open and decentralized and standardized we are. And every world that's in Banter leverages often multiple browsers. In here we have one for the video player that's not there, even though I just gestured to it. But we also have one for the space itself. And that means that you can leverage not just JavaScript, but the entire browser stack to really be able to do some interesting things, right? So yeah, I don't know. I hope that answers your question.
Another way to answer that is a lot of us are ex-Altspace members as well. So
Yeah.
That's true.
That makes sense.
That's true.
What? Oh, can I? Okay.
Yeah, go
What
ahead.
kind of tools would you hope that people make for Banter for other creators?
I mean, that's an interesting one. I think, yeah, I mean, I think anything really. I talked earlier about the idea of some kind of marketplace that could leverage what we call kit bundles, but they're Unity asset bundles filled with prefabs,
Zaki
and be
just
able to
stumbled
allow
into our
others to take
virtual
advantage
realm.
of these,
Someone
easily
hold their
pull them into
hand.
their
They look
worlds,
lost.
maybe even form part of a world builder. I mean, I would love for people to explore being able to even create tools that allow people to build in VR. You know, a community world builder is what I built back in the day on Altspace. And if it were me, and I mean, I think others agreed at the time that the right idea would have been to embrace that and try to incorporate that and try to integrate that. But they had a different view on the world, I guess. And honestly, that view on the world is the reason that we're all here. So I can really hardly blame them for it. You know, the story, the origin story, is that tool I mentioned before, Shane's Editor. They deprecated their browser-based integration, which made that possible. Their whole JavaScript system, which we built that on. So I decided to spin that out into a different game at the time, and submitted that game to Oculus. It was rejected, so we built Sidequest. Sidequest now has millions.
Yeah. Thanks, Altspace.
Yeah. You know,
Darius has
honestly,
joined the
we wouldn't be
space.
here. None of us would be here today if it weren't
And
for
it's
them.
feeling like home.
Yes.
It is. It's feeling like home again.
And yeah, Faye isn't here, but you know, anybody familiar with Altspace, especially well, you know, early days as well, but especially
I was early
closer
day
to the end.
Altspace.
You were?
I was. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Pre Microsoft acquisition, just briefly pre Microsoft acquisition, but yeah, I was definitely an early Altspacer. You'll notice that a lot of people on here are, and a lot of people have ported over worlds from the old Altspace. So there's lots of worlds there that you can enjoy if you remember those from back in the day.
Yeah, I missed out on the last couple of years on Altspace.
Yes,
Like
as did I.
I started in 2020, 2019.
Right,
Altspace.
gotcha. I think I started in about 2015, 2016. probably stopped around 2019.
Yeah, I stopped around 2021.
Gotcha. Well, you know, speaking of Altspace and some of the iconic members on there, we've got a lot of them who've come here and they
IT
now
Trey
run
just
events
teleported
that they
in.
would have run on Altspace. And we've got one of them right here in the middle here who runs our improv night. Improv night ran for so many years. It was honestly a staple over on Altspace. It was one of their longest running events by far. So Mystery Steve here in the middle, as well as Shoseki, who's actually controlling the camera system in here and live streaming this event to our YouTube. Which, you can wave. Maybe Shoseki will put himself on megaphone and say hello to
Divine
us.
just brought their new event over here. which is
Unravel
the
Winter's
exercise
too
event.
late.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Starting next Wednesday, my exercise event will be here as well. Yep.
That's awesome.
8 p.m.
previous
Eastern
Altspace event.
Standard Time.
That's great. Well, you know, I think for us, the biggest problems we see with events on a lot of other platforms is that they tend to just, it's an afterthought. It's never the priority. It's always buried. It's always difficult to find them. Discovery is terrible. How can you get people to your events when that's going to happen? You know, we're taking a complete opposite approach to it over here, where right now it's probably the most important thing for us on the platform. So we're gonna nurture that. We're gonna drive traffic at that. Right.
That's how you run into people around here going to events. I started out like about a week and 3 days ago on Banter, and I've met so many people, so many wonderful people. It's been chill around here. Also, Zeffy's event tomorrow, 420. Yes, sir.
Yay.
As you take a big hoof off the vape. Love it. Go ahead, Captain Dan. You've got a question?
No, I was just gonna make a. I was just gonna make a comment about how event focused you are and what type of impact that's made on like me and my friends who just started using this. One, I think it's helpful in terms of inclusion. You know, you talked about the events being an afterthought in other platforms, and I 100% agree. Like I incorporate your events feed on my Discord as well as Horizons. Horizons has no events. I mean, they're just games, and like, you know, you go in and you have your siloed cliques that will just hang out, and that's fine. But here, immediately you can jump into an event. It's very easy to participate and just jump in, start meeting some new people. And like, that's a huge difference that I found within Banter.
And we're all welcoming around here.
Correct. And then literally the feed that I have so that people can just pick events that they want to go to. It's like a stream, which is amazing. Like you could never not have something to do if you wanted to like just jump in and be social. So I really appreciate that. You don't see that with Horizons, which is crazy.
I agree. It is totally
You can
crazy.
never go to sleep because there's always an event to go to.
Yeah.
Honestly, no.
That's
Like,
here.
Banter has ruined my sleep schedule. I'd be staying up for events I want to go to.
Oh no! Oh my God! we were going to do a Bantathon event in May where it was 24 hours of power and see who can make it. Sorry, I have to answer a question for Cobra. I noticed your hand was up a minute ago and I haven't asked you.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. What can I do
Yes,
for you?
yeah, I was wondering, would they ever come out with a theater where people can go to watch movies? You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know Big Screen has that, you know, and I was like wondering if this environment would have it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an
I
interesting
think we're trying to
one.
get some movie nights set up anyway.
Well,
That's
I think what's important to note, and I think some of you might have remembered recent events on VR chat, right, where there's been a mass exodus of similar things. Us as a platform, I should probably explain this so that
Mustang
you guys
89
understand.
has
But
glitched into
us
the
as a
Matrix.
platform, we work like any other platform. When people do things on our platform, we can somehow absolve ourselves of the responsibility and risk of that, and that's Section 230, DMCA. Call it whatever you want. That's what it is. For us, it's quite important that as a platform that we, remain in the position that we don't endorse or promote piracy on the platform, right? Because if we do, we risk the whole platform for everybody, and that's a big deal. compared to if a user were to, for instance, set up a private world and start running movie nights or something like that, and we get a DMCA request on that. The process there is that we have to act, of course, but we're not at any substantial risk ourselves, for being hit with lawsuits, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's kind of standard stuff in terms of how the internet works. Now, all that being said, I mean, it's really difficult to know where the line is with some of these things, right? I know friends of mine that will hang out in small closed groups in Discord channels and will share movies and watch movies together. I know that that's a big thing on big screen where it's it's within a closed small private group, and then as long as it's not too large, you can get away with that kind of stuff. And I guess my advice to people is, if you're interested in that, try to follow those kinds of criteria. Keep it to small groups, keep it to private settings, and that way you'll run the risk less that there's ever going to be a problem with somebody else. It gets closer to a scenario where you're in your own living room and you've just invited friends around and you can watch a movie together. That's the scale of the gray area there, if you know what I mean. But what I can tell you is we have a number of technologies in here. We've got a reusable synced YouTube playlist player that people can watch in most spaces that you're in Banter. It's I'm pointing to it as if it's up here, but hang on. If I get off and close this, it's
right
what's
there.
driving this screen, this whole effect. If I wanted, I can hit the little playlist button on my hand, and I can type in any YouTube video at all, just a random video that nobody's ever seen.
Dirty, dirty, dirty.
No, please.
What is this? What is this?
Okay, you're lucky.
Sorry.
You're lucky. The search isn't working for some reason. Okay, I won't do it. Okay, I always put this song on. It's
Someone
a thing.
was really nervous.
Sick of it. What we also have is streaming technology, so that you can stream your screen into or cast your screen into Banter, right? And that's a bit of a clunky service, but it is there for a lot of our events, right? People use it for streaming their screen when they're showing, demonstrating how to do different things. They use it for playing Jackbox games together. They use it for showing their screen to show videos that they have. There's lots of different reasons why you can use that yourself. And like I say, it's a bit clunky, but it's open for anybody to use. And as it stands right now, it's kind of a prototype that we want to later better integrate into the core game, But yeah, anybody who's interested in playing with any of those pieces, just come and ask on the Discord. You can get all the information there.
Thanks for answering my question.
No problem. Thank you.
Doing the screencasting troubleshooting.
Go ahead, Zephy. I think I phoned you. What have you got for us?
Remember last night we troubleshooted the screencasting for like hours in the greenhouse?
Oh yes, you and
I was there for a little bit.
Vanquisher, yeah. So there is some things to do to learn how to. It's not as easy as everything. Certain browsers work and certain browsers don't, and certain settings need to be on, certain settings need to be turned off or it lags. It's like there's a few things, but yeah, we got it going. It's good.
Yeah,
we got it going. Well.
Loads of info.
And I wanted to ask about
connect is the Discord, right?
Yes, very much so. Oh, I just wanted to ask about. I wear toques in the winter because I'm Canadian, and I wear baseball hats in the summer. And I noticed you like trapper hats. I was just wondering where that is. Is there a history behind trapper hats?
Theoretical coffee is not part of our virtual.
That is a good question. So I don't know if you've seen my other avatar with the small head. It also has a hat like this. It's the reason this one has a hat like this. Honestly, there's no real story behind it, other than at one point in my life, all I did was wear a hat like this. That was just my thing. I was always, I lived in Ireland. It was cold, so it easily justified having a hat like this. But no, what happened was it got sort of somewhat ingrained into me whenever on Altspace they made me a custom avatar back in the day, and I sent them photos of myself, and they made the hat that you can now see on my other.
It worked, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, I don't have a really exciting
No,
story.
that's okay.
That's
That's awesome. That's a good story.
yeah,
Yeah, it's cold. It is cold in
it is
places,
cold.
and you need all of that. You need a hat.
Yeah. There's nothing better than a good hat.
I actually should
definitely
get
a
one of those.
person.
I've never bought one of those myself. So when I think Canadians like toques more. I think that's what it is for some
Gotcha.
reason.
Yeah.
That's what we like toques.
Well, I love all hats. All and any hats. I'm definitely a hat person.
Oh, another thing, a
exotic hats.
public service announcement, I guess, is that I'm not able to change my avatar with the change button. I have to, I do it on browser, separately, they're not in game, on Ready Player Me, and then I switch into it that way. Just change avatars. Is that right? Like that's what I'm doing.
I think the button's been fixed though, right? Didn't we fix that button? It should have been fixed. If it's not working, then
Okay, wait one second. Can I change into something and see if it works?
Mine's still not
Sure.
working.
Did this work?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So now it's like a fluorescent green weed leaf.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
okay. Cool.
Well, the outline of them and a darker background behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so it doesn't show on on me. Oh, there it is. It just updated. Okay, it's working better now. Excuse me. Ready Player Me is working better now. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, we're at the end of the vent. I can hear Shoseki whispering somewhere over there in the corner. For some reason, he's not megaphone. But
Someone held their hand.
yeah, thank you all
They
for coming. I
looked
guess this is
lost.
technically the end of the event, and we'll wrap up nicely for the end of the live stream. You can all just randomly wave somewhere in the sky, like at the end of one of those corporate videos. Just yay! We're just waving idiots. We just love to wave. That's our yeah, baby. Really lean into that. Feel the nature of it. Oh yes.
Yeah, I started looking at baby reindeer now.
Yeah. But yeah.